Hello, and welcome to another interview. And of course, we're joined by our co-host, Drew. How are you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Fantastic. And our guest today is Peter Walker from sunny Middlesbrough, I think he was just saying.
Yeah, it's not so sunny Newcastle today, actually.
Right. and Peter is the managing director of a company called Brownlee Dean. So thank you very much for joining us today, Peter. Before we get into it, just give us an overview of your business, who you serve, and the market you operate in, please, mate.
Yeah, of course, chap. So basically, we're a civil engineering and construction contract staff supplier. So essentially, we recruit for infrastructure projects, mainly in the north of England, but across the UK as well. So if you see any large motorway schemes or water treatment projects, bridge structures, that type of thing, we recruit project staff into those projects. So tends to be civil engineering disciplines are our kind of specialty. So that's where we are. Yeah, the nuts and bolts of project delivery is what we like to call it.
Excellent. And how old's your business, Peter?
So we're coming up about 16 months now, I think.
16 months.
Yeah.
Excellent. And from your point of view, how long have you been in recruitment yourself?
Yeah, a long time. So 2006. So yeah, 13 years. 13
years. But crikey, you must have been very young when you started then, mate.
Good compliment there, thank you.
Yeah, well, I didn't seriously. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So I can't remember how long we've been working together now. What, 3-4 months?
Yeah, about the end of August, I think it was. Yeah. It's about three or so months. Yeah.
And I always ask this question, but from your point of view, when we first reached out to you and etc., what were your reservations about working with us?
I think I'd kind of seen, I mean, the way I kind of got drawn into kind of you, Terry, was I suppose I'd seen a lot of your content on online for quite a long time, to be honest. I think we've been connected on LinkedIn for quite a long time. And I think I kind of, the message you were sending out there in terms of the kind of problem you could solve really resonated with me. And I think if all recruitment business owners are honest, it probably resonates with most of them, the issues that we face. But I think sometimes, you know, you think, well, is it too good to be true? And, you know, what's the catch? What's the cost? You know,
yeah.
And as a new business, you know, we need to keep costs relatively low. So I suppose the main reservations were, you know, yes, the message that you're sending out there looks like it can help us, but, you know, is there a catch? I think you always look at that when there's something new and think, oh, you know, it's maybe too good to be true.
Yeah, fair point.
Just on that, Peter. You mentioned that you know, online a lot of our content resonated with you because we spoke a lot about the challenges that you were having at the time.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you were having before you sort of reached out to speak to us? What were some of the things that were going on in your business or your life?
Yeah, I mean, as a new business, I think when I was in the same business for 11 years basically, as an employee. When I left that business, you've got all these grand ideas of how you want to do things and you're going to change the world, etc., etc. And then you know, I was in a position where I had the new baby on the way, just moved house. I had about 6 months cash to survive on, and you start a new business and you kind of just, you know, you stick to what you're good at, but you also kind of just take anything you can get, and sometimes you work on other people's terms, on your clients' terms, and sometimes you get walked all over, I think, in that first year.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson. And I think what I got from you guys was actually, hang on a minute, if we can get clients who are coming to us and actually, well, first of all, coming to us instead of us going to them, and actually respecting what we do, then surely we can charge more for our services and and basically get more fees through the door. And that was the kind of main thing that really kind of resonated with me in the first instance. And I'm sure what I've just said there is probably a similar path to probably a lot of new business owners have taken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think not even just new business owners. I mean, we work with recruitment and search for managers at different points in the journey. Some who are just starting out, but some who've been, in the business 20, 30 years. It's the same problems that they've got. They're good at what they do, really good recruiters, good at finding candidates. But, one of the big problems they have is that they find themselves dealing with hiring managers or companies that don't really respect the value that they can bring to the table.
Yeah.
And they find themselves getting walked over. Just on that, if we can go into a bit more detail about exactly what you mean in terms of, you felt like you were taking anything and hiring managers were walking all over you. Can you just sort of give us one experience just to sort of make it clear for anyone listening of, when you felt like you perhaps wasn't respected by the people you were working with?
Yeah, I've been in certain situations where clients were kind of playing me off against other businesses, other agencies, in regards to candidates. So even though I'd sent a candidate first, they were CVs first. They were trying to play me off in terms of, well, I've had this candidate from another agency and they're charging this fee, and I was thinking, no, that you can't do that, But you're that desperate to keep hold of that client for maybe future business because the pipeline of work in front of you is a little bit uncertain. That you kind of bend a little bit. You bend in terms of your terms, and I think one thing you guys have taught me is if a client is doing that to you, then just walk away.
But I mean, I understand, especially as a new business, there's also that element of fear, isn't there? Shit, if I don't get business from this client, so there's that fear that's driving you at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as well, I'm probably like most good consultants who start a business. So you're a really good consultant.
Yeah,
you've been a good consultant, and that's great. And you go into your business, and it's fantastic. And it's just you and you. And to be honest, I make it sound doom and gloom. I had a very good start, and we've done well. I think that another thing that resonated, I think, with kind of your message was that as we've started to grow a team, so there's two people in my team now. I've only got so many hours in the day, and the client relationships I had are with me. It's almost, how can we find a clear process to duplicate an effective recruiting process throughout the business? Because I think what you find is that it was the same in my previous business. You have you have some top billers who are great, and they go out and win a load of business, but there's no real blueprint for how they do that. It's just most recruitment businesses like, here's a phone, here's a computer, here's a little bit of training, crack on.
Yeah.
And I think as a business owner, to get a consistent pipeline of work, there needs to be a clear process of how to do that and implement that, really.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So, Peter, just sort of going back to, when you first reached out to speak to us, what was it that, you said that you were seeing some of our content for quite a while.
Yeah.
What was it that was sort of the point where you thought, I'm going to reach out and speak to these guys? What was it that sort of, I guess, changed or happened that?
Yeah, it's a good question, that, Drew. I'm trying to kind of think back to what really resonated, because it was certainly me. It was certainly me that reached out to Terry, to be honest. I I think things had happened where we'd taken a little bit of a dip and I'd had a few knockbacks, and then all of a sudden, I think I'd seen content that really kind of resonated in terms of, you know, do you want clients to kind of respect you? It's all about this respect thing, I think, for me. I think that's where it resonated from. But then it was probably just I was having a very, very bad day. And at that point, it just clicked in my mind. I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. As simple as that. It's hard to put. I can't exactly remember exactly what happened, but I would imagine it would be something like that. It certainly, I think, if I'd had an absolutely amazing month and we're dropping loads of fees and we've got a great pipeline for the next 3 months, I probably don't think that would have been a point where I would have reached out to you. Because I think it's something where there's been a bit of an issue and, you know, I've seen something online and thought, yeah, I'm going to give these guys a try.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. I think that applies to anything, whether it's, you know, you decide you're going to lose weight. I was talking to a friend quite recently and I said, what made you, you know, he's lost 2.5 stone or something. And I said, what brought it on? He said, honestly, Terry, so I went to a wedding and they took a photograph, you know, and I could see my 4 chins and I thought, shit, I've got to lose some weight. So there's normally a catalyst where something's happened. You go, enough already. So I suspect the challenges you've been having having for a while, but something in particular happens and you go, enough already. I've got to do something different.
I think, in fact, you've twigged my kind of mind back there as to something that really was on my mind at the time. And it was about family. It was personal, I think. It was more personal than because we've had it, you know, although we've had dips here and there, we've had a pretty good 16 months. So I think I mentioned to you at the start, you know, I had a baby on the way when I first started the business. So, and he's 1 now, he's just gone 1, little Ellis. And I think I thought to myself, probably after a year in, which is like just before we started working together, that thought, you know what, I'm that busy. I haven't got enough hours in the day. I'm working on a Saturday morning. I'm working on a Sunday, preparing for Monday. I'm coming in at 8 o'clock at night. I'm not seeing my little one go to bed. I'm then having to work again. I'm falling out on my partner with increasing regularity. And I think I thought to myself, well, I'm pretty much doing just a job within the recruitment business. I might as well go back to the company I used to work for, have less of the stresses, and still earn damn good commission. Yeah. And I think that was a key factor, because I thought to myself, well, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it'll always be this way. I think a realization came over me after a year in, which, to be honest, is probably quite soon for some people, because I think a lot of people go a lot longer than that without realizing that. But something's got to change here, where I can actually, there's a process and a methodology that will allow me to, yes, consistently grow the business, but also have more free time.
Yeah. Interesting what you said there. So what I've found is that, you know, there's really 2 reasons that people reach out to us, right? It's either the problems that they were having and have been having for a while have got worse. You know, so you said, you know, when you couldn't remember, you might have had a really bad day, right? So that's probably getting worse. But a lot of the time, it's not something necessarily getting worse. It's the person or the individual standards raising and thinking, no, this isn't good enough anymore. They might have accepted it for 1 year, in your case, 5 years, 10 years. And they think, actually, I don't want to continue like this. So I think, you know, if we look at the reason why a lot of us start businesses, it's for that freedom, right? For that ability to, you know, make the money we want to make, but also do what we want to do when we want to do it, and only if we want to do it at all, right? And sometimes the very reason you started your business can get taken away from you in your business, right? If you get caught in the day to day, and like you said, you end up having a job rather than a business, a job where, you know, you've got all the other stresses of running a business, but not enough of the reward and not enough of the freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, if you think about what you've got to do when you're running a business, all the little intricacies of all the little things you've got to do. And yeah, you know, as Terry's taught me actually quite well, and I'm still working on, you know, you think most people need to outsource more than they do as a business owner. But there's so many little things that you actually do that, to be honest, you're probably a better consultant when you're in a job because you don't have all those things. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's, if you think about it like that, it's madness, you know.
Yeah.
You need to, yeah, I mean, I'm 37, but, you know, I tell you what, I feel a lot older than that in the first year of business, that's for sure.
Awesome. So, look, so you know, you eventually reached out to us. What was the first call you, like, before you joined the program? What was your experience of the first call with us?
Yeah, with Terry. Pretty intrusive, to be fair, but I think, but in a good way, because I think it was very much about him asking me what my challenges were and really kind of probably exploring my mindset a little bit, really, which I think is what I needed to hear. I think I needed to look at myself in the mirror and put that up against myself and say, you know, what can you change here? Like, I think the key thing, not to go too far ahead of ourselves, but, you know, making me look at what I was doing and how I can become more responsible about everything that I do in the business, essentially. And I don't know if you agree, chaps, boys. That first call is quite a strange call. And I don't know if anyone else has said this, but you kind of, because you're not too sure what, you're not, well, you know, I sent an email to you, Terry, and we arranged a call and I wasn't too sure what to expect, really. And I think that first call is a little bit like, whoa, like, you know, we're getting asked a lot of questions here that are really exploring things deep inside of me that I, you know, that I maybe haven't kind of looked at for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we call it holding the mirror up because I think it's all of us as humans. One of the things that we do, in fact, Drew and I were talking about this earlier, is that we always want to look good. One of our things is we want to look good, and certainly in the presence of other people. So what, not just recruiters, everybody will say everything's fine, and, you know, but it's the BS that's coming out. And for you to move on, you've got to hold the mirror up and go, this is really what's going on. You know, yeah. Cut all the bullshit now. You know, this is what's really going on. This is the outcome of it. And you touched on something there. One of the things I asked you was the challenges you have and the implications of those challenges. And you talked about your son and how little you were seeing your son.
Yeah.
And any parent, anybody that's a parent, and all three of us on this call are parents, but anybody that's got children, and a moment comes where you go, what the hell? I spend more time at work and spend more time doing stuff around work than I do with my children. And I'm almost a stranger to my children.
Yeah.
And that realization can literally, it's like getting punched on the nose when you realize and you think, this isn't why I set up in business. I can guarantee people listen to this now, they didn't set up in business to spend all the time at work and not to see their family.
No. And I think that the...
I was going to say, it depends who your family is.
Well, hey Pete, look, all I'm going to say, buddy, you've met some of my family, so we'll leave that one there.
Yeah. You two must hate each other, spend every working hour with each other.
Sorry, Peter. We interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, I was just saying that I think one of the first things you asked me to do, Terry, was write a letter to the future. Which, which you probably. What was the question about? Was it writing something to your 8-year-old self or something? Just remind me what the question is.
Yeah, there's a number of questions, but what we're looking to establish is what is you want to. What's your dream? Because when you set up in business, you had this dream.
Yeah.
Even if you've never verbalized it or written it down, and what we're looking to understand is what's your dream, and really what's getting in the way as well. And you know, you'll have had aspirations as a child, and we want to understand what your real motivation is.
Yeah.
Because every business owner will say it's about the money, but ultimately it's not necessarily about the money. It's what the money will give them.
Yeah,
then it's going
exactly.
to be around, status, recognition, peace of mind, security of the family. That came out really strong with you.
Yeah, and to be honest, I remember. In fact, I feel it now. I feel the feeling I had when you first asked me about that, and that absolutely hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah,
that was the key. I think I was like, wow, like, am I gonna just run myself into the ground for the next 10 years and never see my son?
Yeah,
it's not why I started a business. I started a business for more freedom.
Yeah,
I wanted to build something, and I'm passionate about it, and I care, and it's personal to me. But you know, I've got a duty of responsibility to my family, and I wanted, I'm doing it for them, really.
Yeah. I think we all are, regardless of who your family are. We'll leave that one there, Peter, shall we?
Awesome. So, talk to me about your early experiences of the program. What were your initial thoughts when? Because one of the things that we do when anyone joins, a lot of the stuff we're telling you to do is almost alien to what you have been doing. So, what was your experience in terms of sort of transitioning from what you were doing to what we told you to do?
Yeah, it's taken me a little while, to be honest. And I think I had a bit of a moment maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago where actually the penny really dropped. So I think in the early phases, I think you're asking to do probably. I think consultants who, I'll try and explain it a bit better. Consultants who've been doing the same thing for a long time find it very hard to change what they do. And I think you ask people to get out of their comfort zone and put their head above the parapet a little bit. So what I mean by that is kind of, you've got to, if you follow the kind of program that you guys have training, then you're going to piss some people off. And I think initially that was scary to me. I thought, well, hang on a minute, if I'm approaching my clients like this and I'm putting content out there that is, quite aggressive in the way it's saying, well, don't do this because you won't end up with this. I felt like, whoa, some people are not going to like that. And I think it's that. I think in the early phases that was a bit of a difficult thing to get my head around, really.
Okay, and when you say the penny dropped, what was it that happened? That what realization did you come to?
I think I realised that. Well, to be honest, me and my colleague Jamie here have actually we've been kind of firing a few clients, so to say. So basically, when the clients has approached us, or we've approached them, I should say, and they've said, well, listen, this is these are our terms, this is this, and we just say, well, listen, this is not how we work. We can't work to those terms. And they say, well, other agencies are working on those terms. We say, well, we're not other agencies. And actually, it's been so powerful because even this week, Jamie's actually done this twice this week, believe it or not, and 2 of the hiring managers have actually came back to her and said, well, we still want to work with you. What can we do to come to some kind of agreement? And that's so powerful because all of a sudden she went from maybe being down here and the clients up here, and all of a sudden they were raised to the same level. And it was that, just because she had a bit of self-respect. And I think if anything, that's really all the processes that you guys train are quite simple, really, and you just need to do it consistently. But it's just having that mindset to have a bit of self-respect, I think, is the key thing that I've learned.
One of our mantras is that you should never ever put a client on a pedestal, because the moment that you do, they can only look down on you. So one of the things that we advocate, and as you know, Peter, is that you go for mutual respect, and there's nothing wrong with mutual respect, and because you will be treated, by the way, the way you allow yourself to be treated. you can piss and moan about the client all the time, but if you're allowing that, and what Jamie did that, and I know you and I have had some conversation with Jamie and so on. She said, enough already. I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm going to ask now for mutual respect.
Yeah.
Because I think it's fair to say that she's probably bending over too much for prospects, and they were riding all over her.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's probably been, and that's just maybe a lack of belief, and I think it's just a case of, just it's quite challenging to change your mindset after such a long time, but it's just, if you consistently do the activity that you're training as well, that's another key. I think that's another thing that you asked at the start, Drew, kind of what's in the early phases, what didn't you quite get? And I think it's a consistency of the implementation of the activity that you're asking us to do. Which, to be honest, I'll admit I'm still not 100% on. So that, that's something that I need to take responsibility for and improve. But consistency is the key. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. So here we are, Peter. You say we're in November. I think it was July, August we started working together. And apologies, I can't remember the exact date. So, if somebody to say what were your sort of big wins in that time, what would you share with anybody when they ask you what the big wins have been for you? Not just mentally, because that's quite apparent from listening to you, but also financially as well. Yeah,
financially. Well, I mean, we're going into Q1. And we've already secured 30k for January alone already. I know we're a new business, but
So hang on, just to make that clear,
we did 14k last January. So
awesome.
We're up. We've doubled that already. And what are we talking? What's the 22nd of November?
Yeah, I was going to say, just to make it clear, it's November now, and we're talking about revenue secured for January.
It's November.
Double what it was last year.
Yeah, one of the clients that Jamie has just pushed back on, she's been to a meeting with them this morning. It's incredible, really. They've given her 10 exclusive roles to work on, all perm. So, and they're looking for people immediately, and we have candidates available.
Wow.
It's right in our slot. So, we've had to move on. We've had to move on fees a little bit, but listen, we've got a really good chance of filling these roles. So, what's to say we're not going to do a 45k January? 50k January. We could easily get some of them into January. So, I mean, and for essentially, this was a one-person solo recruiter business 6 months ago. Jamie's only been with us for 2.5 months. So, we really are, we're motoring at the minute. Yeah. So you could possibly do a 50k month in January. January, yeah. There's there's time to get that done. Yeah, absolutely. And just for those, one thing that we advocate. So none of our clients, by the way, work on contingency. It's either retained or exclusive. And just listen to what Peter said there. 10 roles on an exclusive basis. Just think what that would mean to you as a business. You get 10 roles on an exclusive basis. And
Peter,
sorry, Drew.
Sorry, I was going to say, Peter, just on that, before you were working with us, were you working on contingency before?
Yeah, it's pretty much all contingency.
So just on that, just for people who haven't done exclusive, haven't done retained, what do you find the main differences between doing contingency, where you're competing with other recruiters, compared to like exclusive? What, in terms of your ability to deliver a good service, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference? Oh, it's just pulls apart, Drew, to be honest. I mean, if people are watching this and they've worked on contingency, I'm not telling you anything new here, but you are literally rushing around like a mad person, trying to get to those candidates, those good candidates, as quickly as you possibly can. Because we're talking about the construction industry has some serious skill shortages at the minute. So it's a candidate driven marketplace, as a lot of your clients probably work in similar sectors. So there's only a certain amount of candidates who are going to be suitable for these roles at any one time. So if you're working against 4 or 5 different recruiters, it's literally a race to the bottom. It's just speed. How quickly can you get those candidates in front of the client, or CVs in front of the client?
Yeah.
And what working on an exclusive basis has done for us, it allows us to actually go out to the market without the fear of competing against other agency suppliers. And essentially, we've got the time to actually do our job properly. So this is something and when we preach this to our clients, we're saying, listen, hey, come on, like, there's X amount of candidates in the market here. Do you want us to just ping you CVs that are on a database, on our database, or do you want to go and actually spend time finding the passive candidates who aren't maybe looking, but they're the best candidates? And that you can't do that on contingent, because you're not going to qualify those candidates properly. There's more chance of falling through a counter offer stage. If there's so many issues with contingent that is not in the client's best interest, and the client doesn't know that. You've got to tell the client that. That's the thing. We're the recruiters. We've got to tell the client why it's in their best interest. And it makes our job more enjoyable. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like the way I see contingency. It's the emphasis is always going to be on speed, like you're saying. The emphasis is on how quick you can get CVs across. When you switch to either exclusive or retained, the emphasis then switches to quality.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be good at? The fastest or the best? The best quality, or the best and the fastest in the CVs across. And again, it's a choice that as an individual business owner you need to make. But when you become a recruiter that's focused on quality, the clients that you can work with and the fees you can charge are a lot more favourable to you.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no point in us working on contingent, because we're not Randstad, we're not Hayes, we've not got a team of 1 million resources just pinging CVs out and pinging emails out to everyone. We don't want to work with. We don't want to be everything to everyone. We can't be. We're not big enough. So, and we're really happy with that. That's fine. But the clients we do work with, we feel trust us to deliver, and will give us business on our terms. And not all of them. We're only just started in this kind of changing. It's a real pivot in the business. It's a change in mindset. It's a change in the way we do things. Complete overhaul. So it's not going to happen overnight. But in a year's time, I would like to see. I'm sure. Well, I don't like to see. We will have the majority of our customers working with us in that way, without a doubt. If we continue to work in the way you've explained to us.
Yeah.
Awesome.
On that note, I'm kind of sorry to interrupt you, but I'll put you on the spot here and create some accountability. Let's go forward a year from now. So November 2020. What would you like? And you don't have to give us numbers, but in terms of what would you like the business to look like 12 months from now? Because we'll get you back on 12 months from now.
Yeah.
So no pressure.
No pressure at all. Yeah.
Look very nervous all of a sudden.
Yeah. It's a tough question, really. I think. We've discussed the figure anyway, Terry. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna go into that actual figure, but yeah, obviously hit that number is the key one. But I think I would like to be able to. I think personally, I would like to be able to take. This sounds stupid, but a 2-week holiday without me coming out of the business and it.
Okay, so when do you want to take that 2-week holiday?
September next year.
Okay. Seriously, I'm being dead serious. We're going to interview you October next year.
Yeah.
And part of the interview is going to be about your 2-week holiday that you had in September.
Okay.
So here's what we know is if you commit to that and plan accordingly, there's no reason whatsoever why you can't achieve that. It's about that commitment. And one of the questions we asked at the very beginning, how committed are you to achieving your goal? And there's a reason why we ask that, because if somebody's not committed, it ain't going to work. So if you want to go away and think about it and go, actually, I want to review that, that's fine, Peter. But I would throw down that challenge and say, look, commit to it, and let's talk in October. And the purpose of the interview, you talking about your holiday that you had in the previous month for 2 weeks, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and you're right. There needs, you need to have that. You need to have that number and all that those goals and then break it down into. If you've got an annual goal, break it right down. What do I need to be doing every month, every week, every day?
That's right.
Every hour to get to that point.
Yeah,
I think that's something we're doing a lot more of now.
Yeah,
because you can waste time in recruitment doing things that don't generate revenue for you, and making cups of coffee every 2 minutes and all this kind of crap. But you've got to get down to activity, and if you really want to achieve, then that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. Peter, one sort of last area I want to look at is, you said that one of the motivations for you working with us was your son and stuff that was going on at home, time out the business, arguments with your partner, time with your son. How have things changed on that front? Yeah,
for the better. I think the mindset, my change in mindset has been the key, which my wife has noticed. She loves you, Terry, by the way.
She's only human. It's understandable. On a serious note, Peter, you're not the first client to say that. The family members notice the difference in them, because people listening to think, it's just about the ninja marketing tricks, but it is about the mindset. And I'd say 80% of our clients say my family have said they've noticed the difference in my mindset, because that's where your breakthroughs come from.
And that's a breakthrough, and I think instead of going home and as you would say, pissing and moaning about something that's gone wrong at work, or something that, or this hasn't happened, or this has fallen out, or the team's not performing this way, the way I want it, that's my responsibility. I'm responsible for that. I don't want to go home and moan about that type of stuff. And I'm sure my wife doesn't want that either. And I think that's one thing that I've got from it. And that's that change in mindset. I'm now coming home and it's like, right, I'm responsible for this. I need to go and do what I need to do to ensure that the business is running successfully.
And it's a really interesting point there for anybody listening to this, is that if you're in that situation, every night you're going home, you're pissing and moaning about what's wrong at work. The association then with your partner is, every time a partner gets in, he or she is pissing and moaning about what's wrong at work. Can you see the negative impacts it has on the relationship? Because as soon as the car pulls up or they hear the key go in the door, is here we go. So ultimately what you're doing is it's called wearing out the relationship. And the association is, as soon as that key goes in the door, my partner's going to come in and be pissing and moaning about what's wrong with the business. Now, you ask anybody, how does that help the relationship? If one person is doing that 5 days a week, and probably doing it on Saturday and Sunday as well. Yeah.
It's just, it's, and I think as well, the stuff that the mindset piece that you've kind of worked with me on as well. I'm now sharing that with my partner as well, my wife at home. So now she's changing her mindset as well. So it's so powerful. The mindset thing is the key for me. That is I think if you crack that, then you're halfway there. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. It's the most important thing. And it's interesting, if you ask any owner or director if they were going to bring in consultants, they would always want to bring in, or not even just consultants, but employees. They would always want to bring in the individuals with the right mindset, with the right attitude above everything else. And they would give preference to the individual with the right attitude and the right mindset over experience every day of the week. And so we all acknowledge the importance of having that right mindset. And you've typified it there, Peter. And I want to thank you as well for sharing as well, because you've been very honest
about what's going on. So, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much, Peter.
Pleasure.
Again, if you're listening to this and you resonate with anything that Peter said, and you think, you know, you would like to have a conversation with us, see if we can get similar results in your business, you go to makemoreplacements.com/apply, book a call to speak with one of us there. Again, we'll share with you what a plan to help you make your business better. And if it's a fit, no, we can get you some of the results that we've got for Peter. If it's not, then that's fine as well. But that's makemoreplacements.com/apply.
Excellent. Peter, again, thank you very much for giving it the time and sharing with us what you've discovered. I'll keep my fingers crossed for your football team tomorrow.
Thank you, Terry.
Seriously, buddy, thank you very much indeed, and have a great weekend, and enjoy time with your family and friends. And
cheers, chaps. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Not at all, mate. Drew, thank you very much indeed.